Well, hello, hello. Happy Friday. It's Freedom Friday time. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? You made it through this whole weekend. It's been a rough wait, not this whole weekend, this whole week to the weekend. It's been a rough and busy week, but I am so glad that it's Friday. Pretty excited about it, pretty hype about it. Yeah. Come on and jump in, join us, say hello in the chat. Let me know that you're here. It's Freedom Friday, and I've got something fun to talk about today. It might be fun. It might be fun, but definitely we're going to have a good time. So, Freedom Friday. Hi, Shelly. Hi, sister. How are you? Thank you so much for jumping on. As you all know, on Freedom Friday, we are talking solutions. We're talking about dealing with our issues, getting better, getting the victory, all of that fun stuff. So let's start talking about it. I'm so glad that you're good. I'm glad that you had a minute to get on. Well, hello, Karan. How are you? Good morning. Please make sure that you say hello in the chat. And as it pops up, I will certainly say good morning back to you. Hey, T, it's a great morning. Y'all, let's talk about Freedom Friday. Listen, I know you see my picture up there. Good morning, mother of the outstanding 8. She is also Sharper Learning. Yes, hello, Dr. V. So glad for you all to jump on today. Foolery free zone, you better know it. Hey, Jackie, it's time to talk about it. If you saw my post, then you already know that today we're talking about broken pieces. And listen, we know something about that. But let's get started. How was the 4th of July? Did you enjoy the fireworks, all the pretty lights, and the explosions and all of the sounds? And a lot of people love the 4th of July. I personally, I'm kind of torn because I think it looks good, but then when the smoke gets in the air, it makes me not feel so good. So it's not my favorite holiday, but I get why a lot of people love it. But the day after, all these leftover pieces of trash and debris and, hey, Carolyn, all this stuff that we can't do anything with. Now it's on the streets. Now it's on the sidewalk. And I mean, it's a good time had by all, but it's not a good time when you got to clean that stuff up. Yes, it is Jackie's favorite holiday, but it's not a good time when you got to clean it up. So all that stuff is scattered. So today I wanted to talk about broken pieces. So you see my little picture there, my little vase. Well, hey, looked at me like, what, girl? I don't blame her. Some of that stuff I could do without, but in a way. So my picture on the screen has nothing to do with the 4th of July, but it does have everything to do with a huge celebration that's coming up tomorrow. And it's one of the pieces that I made for this celebration. So I got to tell y'all what happened so we can get to talking about this broken pieces and what to do with broken pieces. I made 2 vases like this one that you see. This one isn't the completed vase, but that's pretty much what I was working with. I made 2 of them. I got them all ready and I got ready to take them so they could be delivered. I put them in the back of my car, and y'all have to know I turned the corner and the sound that came out the back of my car, it hurt my entire heart. It hurt my feelings. I didn't even have to look back to know something was broken. I turned the corner and I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt like crying. I felt like having a moment because all of this hard work, hey, Kevin, all of this hard work was in the back seat of, oh, yeah, Tiara, yeah, events. All of this hard work. It took me, 3 trips to Hobby Lobby to get everything that I needed. It took me a few days to undo one arrangement, get rid of all of that stuff, start fresh with all brand new pieces and put all this stuff together. And it took me some days, and I was pretty proud of myself that I had sat down and made this arrangement and got it ready and then fool around and I busted it. Oh my God, my feelings were hurt. And on the way to the delivery, mind you, I didn't just break it and say, oh, well, I got time. I broke it on the way to deliver it. Okay, so let's talk about broken pieces. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 things that I learned about breaking and broken pieces. Hey, Myasia, if you've ever been broken, if you've ever broken anything, would you just holler at me in the chat and say, I did? Say it was me, whatever. Let me know that you kind of have some idea of where we're going today and you can relate to what we're talking about. I don't know that I know anyone who's never gone through something that has broken them, that has damaged them, that, or ever broke something that was of so much. I see you, Kevin, Myasia, so much value to you. And then the next thing you know, boom, all you hear is a shattering and a scattering. Good Lord. When these things happen, it is difficult to bounce back. Come on, King Clumsy. I hear you, Karan. It's difficult to bounce back, but listen, it can be done. We just need some tools to help us. But I want to talk today about 5 things that I learned about the breaking and about broken pieces. So let's get it. Number 1, at the top of number 1, not at the top of my list, just number 1, okay? Number 1, when I pulled the broken pieces out, I pulled out the big chunks, the pieces that I could see. So now I have to get these pieces that are mixed in with the beads and the flowers and all the other components, and I'm pulling out the big pieces. But here's what I learned while I was doing that. You have to be careful touching broken pieces and broken people, even if it seems harmless. Some of those pieces were big chunks, and it didn't seem like there would be a problem when I reached in because they were big enough for me to see. But even when you see broken pieces and broken people, you still have to be careful how you handle broken things and broken pieces, even when you can see them. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It may seem harmless. You may think you can just reach right in there and grab that, but there is a danger there that we have to be mindful of. And there is a fragileness that we have to be mindful of. You can't just handle broken pieces and broken things any old kind of way. You cannot handle them any kind of way out of your frustration. Yes, I was frustrated, but I couldn't just reach in there and snatch it because that was a problem. I had to, as Karan just said, I had to handle with care. Listen, if you are feeling broken, you know someone who's broken, you're dealing with some broken pieces, handle with care. The second thing that I learned, there were tiny pieces that were under the seat and they were buried into the carpet of the back seat of my car. So I got the big pieces out. Hi, Pastor Queen. I got the big pieces out. And then I had to deal with the tiny pieces. And what that taught me was don't rush the cleanup. Listen, we just want to grab everything, throw it in a bag, and just start all over because we're ready to do that. We're tired of the brokenness. We're tired of the broken pieces. But you can't rush the cleanup. The cleanup has to be meticulous. It has to be done with care. It takes time. Now, what I could not do was take my hand and sweep across the back seat and just throw that stuff in the trash. That's not how you handle broken pieces. And too many times we are allowing people to mishandle us in our brokenness. We have to let them know that, hold on. It takes time. God is doing a work in me, and you can't just handle me any kind of way. I cannot just be swept here and swept there. When you do that, then you run the risk of 1, injuring yourself by going too quickly, and 2, leaving broken pieces behind. And when you leave broken pieces behind, then others come behind you and now they're injured because all of the pieces weren't taken care of. You understand? You've heard the saying, broken people cut. Broken people cut. Okay, when all those pieces are not dealt with, then you come along and find yourselves trying to help and handle, and your intentions are in the right place, but you've got to understand that you can't rush the cleanup. Listen, if somebody is broken and they're hurt, they're dealing with grief, they're dealing with rejection, they're dealing with betrayal. We cannot rush the process that God has them in just because we are ready for them to move, just because we're ready to see them better. They are getting better, but you have to understand that the cleanup has to happen from the inside out. I couldn't walk around the outside of my car and get all that glass up. The cleanup had to happen from the inside out. Listen, that wasn't even on my list, but that's a freebie right there. Let's go on to the next one. Handle your business. I hear you, Karan. Pick up all your pieces, and it can be done. Listen, it can be done. We know that God is able. It can be done. Let me go to number 3, which technically is number 4 because he just hit me with that last one. Number 3, I had 2 vases. Now, the first vase, Tierra, hi, Andy. The first vase, I heard all that clatter, 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 right? Here, the second vase had a silent injury. Listen, that second vase had a tiny fracture that was running through that vase. But here's the deal. You could only see it in certain light. So what did this tell me? Be careful and watch out for breaks that only show up when certain people are around. Watch out for silent fractures, because sometimes you can be hurt and not know you're hurt. But then you get in a situation or in a certain circle and you start to feel some kind of way. God is letting you know that there's a fracture there. There's a breaking there that has to be dealt with. And you've got to pay attention to those breaks that you weren't able to see until you were in a certain light. You've got to pay attention to those breaks that you aren't able to see until somebody crosses you, until somebody hurts you again, until you think you've forgiven, but you haven't, and you find out there's a fracture. That vase, if you turned it a certain way, it looked good to everybody until we held it up to the light, and then we turned it some more, and then we turned it some more. And the more we turned it, that crack, that silent fracture, the one I didn't hear go clang, 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 the one I didn't see in the back seat, that fracture became visible. We're talking about broken pieces today. We have some brokenness amongst us. We have some brokenness in us, and we've got to recognize that those broken pieces exist so that God can do a work in us, so that we can be healed. We've got to recognize that healing has to take place. These hidden breaks have to be dealt with, because when they aren't dealt with, you know what happens when there's one crack that you didn't see? It starts to spread. It starts, and somebody said to me, oh, you can stop that crack with a little bit of nail polish. Ladies, you ever have a run in your stockings, in your pantyhose, right? And you done shimmied and got those bad boys on, and you get to church and it's a marathon run up the side of your leg, and somebody says, oh, wait, put a little clear nail polish right there, and it'll stop that thing from running. Well, here's the deal. God does not want to put nail polish in that spot. He's not trying to stop it from running. He wants to heal it completely. But we're walking around with these patched up areas because we decided, well, if I just put a little pin right here, then that'll be okay. But you dealt with the spot where you put the pin, but you didn't deal with the breaking. If we don't deal with the break itself, then that break spreads and ruins the whole vase. You've got to deal with that thing. It's got to be dealt with. Hey, Coco. Coco said, if you don't do anything about the silent fracture, it will eventually break, whether under pressure or anything else. Absolutely. It's not going to stand up. Had I taken that same vase and tried to put all the things back in it again, it would not have been able to hold because it wasn't strong enough anymore. That fracture weakened the entire vase. All right, y'all. How we doing? Anybody know what we talking about? Are you understanding how important it is to deal with the breaking? If you are, just somebody say I got it, I got it. Deal so you heal. You absolutely have to. Here's one thing that we were talking about, a friend of mine, we were talking about pain and grief, and how when you go through certain things, it's so comfortable for people for you to just gloss over that and say, oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm fine. And we do that because we don't, I hear you, my Asia. We do that because we don't want them to be uncomfortable. We don't want other people to have to deal with our pain. But what happens is we cover it up so long that now we're no longer dealing with it. We're no longer dealing with the fact that we are hurting or we're in a bad place. So then we start to cover that thing up. But here's what we talked about. Here's what we know, that if you do not deal with your pain, it will deal with you. If you don't deal with your breaks, they will deal with you. How? They're going to show up in places that you least expected, in conversations. Find yourself being snippy and bitter and feeling some kind of way and all this angst and uneasiness because we aren't dealing with it. We are patching, we are glossing over, but we've got to deal with it. Y'all, I'm talking about the things I learned. Now, I say y'all because I'm country, but I'm talking about the things that I learned when when these two vases collided in the back of my car. There were some lessons there. And while I was on my way to give something to somebody else, I injured what I was getting ready to give them. Lord have mercy. I moved too fast. I turned too quick, and I caused the breaking that happened in something that I was giving to somebody else. Lord, y'all, that ain't in my notes, but listen, we have got to recognize that we are passing gifts and items and things to people that are broken, but we expect them to accept them. So here we are singing and worshiping and using our gifts while we're broken. And don't get me wrong, God can use broken pieces. I'm going to deal with that in a minute. God can use broken pieces. What I'm saying is we have to know that there is a breaking there. Because if you know there's a breaking there, when God heals you, you'll know you've been healed because you understood the wound that was there. Let me prove to you that God can use broken pieces. I've heard a lot of people say, you just need to sit down until you heal. Y'all just need to stop doing this until you heal. Well, healing is the process that's in God's hands. So do I stop worshiping because I've got some broken places that God needs to deal with? I haven't made it to the place of perfection, but in my worship, in my obedience, God can use my broken pieces. In my obedience, God can heal my broken pieces. Let me give you the example, and it's Acts the 20. Hold on, y'all. It's Acts the 27th verse, I do believe, where Paul, hold on, y'all just give me a minute because I'm gonna pull it up because I don't want nobody to think that I'm making this up. Okay? I want y'all to think I'm making this up. Let me get to the scripture right here. Okay? Let me get to the scripture where Paul is on a ship, right? Paul is on a ship and a storm comes and they have to get out of the ship, and there has to be a decision made. Some of them are going to swim to shore so that they are safe, right? Some of them are swimming to shore so they are safe. The others were told to grab the broken pieces of the boat because the boat had begun to shatter and break up. And they were told to grab the broken pieces to get to safety. Listen, I'm getting there, y'all. Y'all don't leave me because I promise you, I need you to know that God is able. God is able. God is able. Don't y'all leave me. Don't y'all leave me. You know, the enemy don't want me to find it, but I'm telling you, it's in here. If somebody else has it, I know you Bible scholars know where I'm going with this. There it is. Thank you, ma'am. This old technology don't want to act right. They came in on broken pieces. Listen, Acts the 27th chapter, broken pieces. When I read that, let me read what Pastor Queen said. I'm holding wood, so I'm holding a stick. So I'm holding each other somehow in the rafter, but they all made it in. Some, she's saying some. So some came in on wood, some came in on sticks, but they all made it to shore safely. When I read that passage, God told me broken pieces still float. Listen, I can still get to the other side. I may not get there the way you want me to get there. You may not understand my journey. Listen, you'll never understand my praise. But let me tell you, my broken pieces can get me to the other side. God can use our brokenness. He can use it, but understand he doesn't want us to stay that way. That was not the plan. Those broken pieces got Paul and the others to the other side, but there was still work to be done. It was no longer about the broken pieces. You can still make it to shore. Broken pieces still float. Let me get to number 4. Hey, I just saw David on. Hi, David. Thank you so much for joining. Come on, let's get to number 4. Number 4 on broken pieces and the breaking. This is what I learned. I had to come on here. I'm determined to make it. I'm trying to tell you, I had to toss the vases. Okay, so you already know the first vase busted, cling, clang, clang, stuff everywhere. The second vase had the silent fracture, but I had to get rid of both vases. Okay, but in getting rid of the vases, I kept the beads, I kept the flowers. So what did I learn from that? Keep the beauty, but let go of what you cannot use. Let go of the pieces you cannot use. Let go of the pieces that poke. Let go of the pieces that cut. Let go of the pieces you cannot use. We are holding on to some stuff that we can't use. Listen, God can use, God does not waste anything, but we are holding on to the cutting pieces. And sometimes we hold on because we want to show everybody our broken piece. We want to walk around with this shard in our hand and say to people, look what happened to me today. Look what happened to me today. Look what happened to me today. Okay, now we got it, but what are we going to do from here? We're dealing with the problem, but when are we going to get to the solution? When are we going to take our broken pieces to God and say, God, I don't want this anymore. I no longer need it. It does not serve me. I have no use for this anymore. God, do what you do. Use what you want to use. But God, I'm giving my broken piece to you today. I'm not trying to hold on to it. I don't need the attention. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Woo! Anybody with me on this? I don't need to hold on to it. I'm bringing it to God because I want him to do something with it. I want to see what magnificent thing he makes. I want to see how the potter just starts fresh, doesn't have to use all of that, can get rid of those things that no longer serve us, but can only get rid of them when we are ready to let go of our broken pieces. All right. Y'all, now I'm winding down. You know, I try not to be way too long, but you know, sometimes it get good to me. All right, number 5. Let's deal with number 5. Y'all, and this one was my favorite. This was my absolute favorite. Quran said, submit your broken pieces. The potter will put you back together. Hey, Nisi, come on. Listen, number 5. Okay, let me give you a quick recap. Number 1, be careful touching broken people and broken pieces, even if it seems harmful. Okay? Number 2, don't rush the cleanup. Number 3, watch out for breaks that you can only see in certain circumstances and with certain people. Watch out for the hidden breaks. Number 4, let go of what you can't use. And number 5, where am I number 5? Where am I number 5? Number 5, where you at? Where you at? Okay, when I pulled my car over and I looked in the back seat, the first vase that was doing all the clanking and clanking and clanking was busted. But what I noticed about it, Jackie, can you be my witness on this? Be my witness on this. I need you to type in, I'm a witness, because she saw it. what I noticed was all the glass was everywhere, right? But the base, the bottom of that thing was still intact. The bottom of that vase was still intact. Now, I couldn't use the vase, right? But what it made me see was if your foundation is solid, you can take the break. If your foundation is solid, you can take the break. Listen, I started looking at that thing and I thought, oh, well, why was the foundation able to handle all this that was going on, but the top couldn't handle it? Why was the foundation able to withstand everything that was happening, all of the collision? Let me tell you, that foundation was thicker. Y'all hear the Lord. Jesus, that foundation was the thickest part of the whole vase. That foundation had been laid to be thicker, so it had more of the elements compounded in that spot than in the top, right? When you start with a solid, thick foundation, you can take the break. The foundation was solid. The foundation was strong. Yeah, the rest of that didn't last, but that foundation said, I ain't going nowhere. I'll be here. I'll be here when it's over. Oh, you can look back here and see all these broken pieces. There's some shards over here and some little bitty pieces over there. But that foundation was sitting tall right there where I put it in the first place. It did not waver. When your foundation is strong, let me tell you something. You can take the break. And how do you get a strong foundation? Listen, we can talk broken pieces and broken places and broken things and broken all of that. But what we need is Jesus. We've got to have a strong foundation. You've got to have relationship. Listen, I don't push religion. That's not my job. I push relationship. I'm a hope dealer. And our hope is in Jesus. Listen, built to last. You better hear me, Pastor Queen. Come on here. Kevin said one thing for sure. In order to be broken, you had to have been whole at one point. You can learn how to be whole again with the help and the direction of the Lord. Absolutely. You've got to have that relationship. Let me give you the scripture that he gave me. It's Psalm the 34th chapter and the 18th verse. It says, the Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart. Listen, hey, you guys, there's my brother. Now, y'all met my baby brother, Jay. This is my big brother, William. Hey, Will. That's my big brother. Listen, God is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart. You don't have to stay in the place that you're in. You can go to God and God can put you back together better than ever. I know a lot of times we think that victory is just overcoming and getting to the other side, but there is victory right here in your trial, in your tribulation. Why? Because victory, and I wrote this down for something else, but I guess I'm supposed to give it to you. Victory is when we are a better version of ourselves during the affliction and after the affliction than when it began. God can give you victory. God can put you back together better than ever. And he can do what no one else can do. Listen, build a strong foundation. It does not mean that you won't have pain. It does not mean that you won't have another break, that you won't deal with another collision. But if you work on that foundation, get yourselves in church somewhere, assemble yourselves so that you can have the strength of the body. Get the word down in you. It is the word that the enemy's got to obey. He don't care nothing about a Dr. D. But when I check him with it is written, he's in all kinds of trouble. You need the word. Prayer, prayer, prayer. Listen, we have a noonday prayer that happens every day. Prayer on Saturdays, Prayer on Sunday. Pray in your car. Pray on your way to work. You don't need 732 words. You just need to say, God, I need your help. Lord Jesus, it's me. Help Jesus. You might only have a help in you. I don't know. You might not have any words in you whatsoever. Maybe you're just waving your hands in prayer. But we've got to build a foundation that can take the breaks. You've got to build a foundation and then surround yourself with overcomers. Surround yourself with people who are going to talk solutions and not problems. Surround yourself with people who are going to talk about God and not other people. You've got to get a solid foundation. Y'all, that's what I wanted to share today on Freedom Friday. I want you to know that you can be free, that God has everything that you need. Nothing you have gone through is too much for God. Listen, it might be too much for the folks around you, but it's never too much for God. God can heal you. God can use what you've been through for your testimony and for his glory. He can do it. He can do it. I am so glad that you have joined me today on Freedom Friday. Oh, yeah. Freedom Friday, y'all. That's what's good. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. Do me a favor. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like, but more importantly, share. Please share this. Let somebody know that's going through, that they don't have to stay in the place that they're in. Let them know that there are some lessons that God has for them that they can catch on to, they can grasp, and they can use as tools to get to the other side. It's not about me. It's all about Jesus. Share it so they can get to the other side. Listen, we're all trying to get there. Some of us may be able to swim there, and some of us might have to float there. Some of us might have to doggy paddle, and some of us might just be treading water. But we've got each other. So share it so that they can get an opportunity to get to the other side. Thank you, Pastor Queen. Thank you so much. I love you dearly. I can't wait till I get to see your face. Can't wait till I get to see you. I don't know when. I'm just saying, I can't wait till I get to see you. Thank you, everyone that has joined another Freedom Friday. I pray that you have been blessed. I pray that God has spoken to your heart and your mind. Whew, y'all, that was fun to me. I'm telling you, that solid foundation almost made me knock some stuff over in here. I said, oh, okay, God. Okay, you talking to me. I got you. I got you. Good stuff. God is so good. Love you guys. I will see you next time on Freedom Friday. I'll still be chatting in the chat. Y'all know I like to chitty chat, chat, chat. Yeah. See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.